R&B Money. We up. Thanks. jvalentine. We are the authorities on all things R&B.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tank.
I'm jvalentine.
And this is the R&B Money Podcast, the authority on all things R&B.
Yeah.
You know, hit records, hit movies.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dessert.
Entrepreneur.
You can't spell that.
Yes, I can. It's written right here on my phone. Class, beauty, and talent.
Oh my gosh.
It's all packaged in a really cool package. And it has a really, really awesome name to define it. I'm going to enjoy saying this name.
Come on.
Announcing this person. It's exciting to meet his family. Excuse my French.
Oh, yeah.
Christina Milian. Milian.
What's up? Hi. I didn't know you were okay. Hi.
Milian.
That was a great intro, man.
I like the way
I
he's
don't know,
really
I can't
good
beat
at
that.
That's exciting.
That was exciting. I wish you know what? We have it on tape. If I ever go out and perform ever again, I'm going to play that right at the beginning. You know how you have the intro?
The
That's
exciting
the intro. Hi. What's up,
Milian.
guys? Good to be here
cracking?
with y'all.
Give me Milian. Where's Milian from?
My mom. So Carmen Milian is my mom. It
Shout
runs
out to
from
Carmen.
Her family.
Carmen, my
Shout
dog.
out
Shout
to
out to
Carmen.
My dog.
What's up, Mom?
Mhm.
And I'm Cuban, so I come from Cuban descent, but Cuba is like a melting pot of just different cultures, different places and faces. And so from what I'm told, I mean, we have just a long lineage back, but it's Spaniard. It also feels very Italian, if you ask me.
It feels very Italian.
But I don't know. I honestly I need to do one of those like 23andMe and just kind of
Don't do it.
go back.
Don't do it.
I know, because then you find out you're connected to a whole bunch of cousins you don't want to be in contact with,
but
right?
not even just that, though. Then they start, they probably will be looking for people that they got certain little...
That's true. Once you're in the
I
system,
don't trust that shit.
they might build a robot off of me, off that little bit of inkling of,
Tank probably
what is it,
already did.
earwax, or what is it, go up the nose?
Yeah, they did. I didn't do it
Tank be
yet.
trying shit.
No,
I'm sure he
I
probably
didn't do
did
it yet.
already.
I'm just interested in it. You know what I'm saying? Because every time I'm around mi gente, they start talking to me, hablando en español. So I'm like, I must be
Ay, Dios mío.
I
¿hablas
must be
español?
part of the community, baby. You know, they talk to me, they see me, they say, you're one of us, baby.
Bro, your name is Darrell.
That's my mama's fault.
That's
But my
funny.
middle name is Artez.
Artez. With the roll.
Artez.
They're just
Okay.
artists.
Okay.
It's artist.
Oh, no. Okay. You know
It
what?
has.
I like the accent. Like the Tarjay.
Over my E, there's the
There's an
thing that's
accent?
only found
That counts, though.
in the Spanish language. It's right over top
Hello.
of it. Artez.
Okay. It counts.
Ruben know what I'm talking about. It's us three today. You're
He's
out.
always trying to throw
I
Ruben
feel like I'm just
in.
going to watch y'all.
Todos
That's the
nosotros.
three.
Solamente nosotros.
Oh, how do you know so much Spanish?
Huh?
How do you know so
I
much
was
Spanish?
taught Spanish as my first language.
Really?
In school, yeah.
Wait, so in school or you mean in general?
In
That was your
school,
first language?
My grandmother believed that Spanish was going to be the first language of the U.S. one day.
Oh, wow.
And my grandmother in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, said, I'm going to put you in a Spanish immersion school.
Wow.
So from kindergarten through fifth
What a
grade,
blessing.
I only learned Spanish.
Really?
And you would lose recess if you talk English.
No
you had
kidding.
to write the
Wait,
word
did
that
grandma
you
speak
said.
Spanish too?
Nope.
Did you teach her? Or
Nobody
she just knew you were
spoke
coming home and
Spanish.
like, oye, grandma, Mima.
I thought I was slick too.
Tengo hambre.
Yeah, I'd
Qué
be like,
rico.
she'd be like, where's your homework? I'm like, it's right here. And she'd be like, so what all you got to do? I said, well, this says right here, no necesita hacer todo. And then this part says, solamente uno a nueve, and then I'm done. And she said, okay, you can talk that Spanish stuff if you want to. I'm going to see when the report card come out.
Oh, my
And my
gosh.
dumb self, like, this, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that report card came
was in
out
English.
with all
That
them
was an A,
numbers.
B, C, D, E, F, maybe a G.
You got beat. I'm sure you
got
got beat.
beat.
Dang, man.
I see she lied to me. She told me I was good in Spanish.
You thought you had a secret language and everything.
I thought I had a secret language.
No.
But
Grandma
it's-
speaks report card.
Kids always think that they're smarter than the adults. I don't know why.
They do. My daughter, I had a talk with her this morning talking about stuff that wasn't turned in and how she found out 3 other people had turned it in and she had turned it in too. And the teacher wrote to me that they hadn't gotten it, but they sent the same message to everybody else and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this is the same story all the time. I don't think I try to pull this stuff on my parents. They were too smart. My dad was super smart. He was really strict about it.
You tried it.
No. I remember the day I had a C on my pre-record, like the middle of the semester report card. I was an AB student, and so I had a C. Do you know, I was crying on my walk home, like, oh my gosh, my parents are gonna kill me. I got a C on my report card.
On the progress report.
On the progress report.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was so scared about what would happen when I got home because it just meant that I wasn't doing my homework. It meant that I wasn't, focused, et cetera, et cetera. My dad was big on like focusing and about, being great. And so when I had a C, oh my gosh. But you know what? He was surprisingly, they were cool. I didn't get my butt whipped.
I just want to.
I got whoopings. Yes.
I just want to point out that we're talking about C's here.
That was average.
First of all, when I got a
Not
C,
average.
we was going to Baskin Robbins.
Okay? You got the Pizza Hut.
Well, listen,
You went to Pan Pie?
They
The
knew
Pizza
you
Hut?
were going to master the middle C.
Come on now.
This
Look
is
at
all
that.
that matters, bro.
Look what happens when you sit here with
And
writers. Look
listen,
what they
hear
do.
how eloquent he is, and he
Twisting
didn't
words.
graduate.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I'm saying?
mean,
He didn't even need the
I got
school.
him out of there.
He didn't even need the school.
He was busy being a superstar.
This shit is for losers.
This is. She said I was getting A's and B's and the C. And
No.
it tormented me.
It was
See,
terrible. I
tormented me.
thought death was upon me.
Christina, when was the identifying moment that you have a gift or something different to offer outside of your intellectual and scholastic abilities?
Wow. Okay. Well, outside of being extremely intelligent, I knew early on. My mom says she saw it early, of course, a parent. They recognize things. And now, as a parent, I recognize things in my children, so I get it. But I was always singing, and I still, to this day, there's not a moment in my day, even if I'm having an argument or having a conversation, I don't even notice. I'm humming or I'm singing. So I'm always like, musically, it's
During
always
the
going
beef?
through my head. I could be having beef. My mom would be screaming at me, and she's like, stop doing that. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. And then she starts talking again. I'm like,
Don't you give me no bad news.
like, I don't know. It's something neurological. It's something, but I think it's a great thing. I say that musical people or people that sing like that, I'm like, you don't see an unhappy person. I think that's just what keeps me in my little happy bubble is music. So it was the greats that I was watching as I grew up. It was Michael Jackson. I was listening to Diana Ross. I was listening to a lot of oldies, a lot of Motown. My parents only had AM radio in their car for some reason. It was broken. So AM radio, I was just listening to old school stuff. And I also just listened to everything, all genres. So I was looking at these people and they especially Michael Jackson. I can get chills still thinking about him to this day and seeing him be on stage and people passing out and screaming and sweating and just the energy. And I had dreams about it. So I would dream about performing, and I'd dream about that same exact thing. And of course, in the back, the helm of that is having parents telling me I can do anything I want to do, be great at it, work hard at it. Just always enforcing this energy in me to just want to go big. And back then, those people had such a mystique about them. I just wanted to know so much. So I dreamt about it, and I begged my parents. I really did. To do what I do today. So they started me early. They helped me out early. I don't want to say they started me because it was really a thing that I really if you watch old camcorder videos of me, you couldn't get me off the camera.
Oh, we got to see those.
I was singing the Oscar Maria song, whatever I can sing in front of the camera. They're like, get away from the kid. They're screaming up. I got screamed at a lot for
wanting to show
for
off.
being just a show off, people telling me sing for everybody, for the family. So I'd always have to sing some Italian aria, some opera thing or whatever. But it started really early, and I started auditioning and stuff when I was a kid, mostly for acting because we didn't really know how to get in the music industry.
And where are you living at this time?
I was living in Maryland because my dad was in the military.
Hey, DMV. Yeah.
And my parents, my dad and my mom, they started young. Like they had me at 17 and 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so these are like two Cuban refugees. You know, they'd come from Cuba at 5 with their family, big family, and they met eventually in high school, fell in love. Well, I guess they fell in love. They had me, so they had to fall in love. Back then, they were like, y'all got to get married.
Right.
Y'all got to do this. And they got their lives together. And so my dad was in the military, and that's what took us to Maryland. And in Maryland, it was just, you know, there's not much out there at that time, but I grew up in the age of MTV. That was also the inspiration. 81 is the year MTV was really born. So it was just so exciting. So I just wanted to embody all of that. So I was just, you know, auditioning. I didn't really get anything for a long time. So my parents took me out because they were like, this is costing us too much money and maybe you need to focus on school. And it was like a year later, I couldn't bear just doing that only. I really asked my parents, like, I really want to do this again. They're like, Christina, we're going to give you one more try. So they got an agent or whatever. And I went, my first audition, I booked it. And
What was that?
It was a National Geographic campaign. It was like not a campaign, but back then you used to watch those Scholastic videos, a National Geographic video when you were in elementary school about whatever. And so I was acting in one, and like I did like 3 of them. And so that was my first thing I ever did. And then from there was just like a little short, small, like baby steps. And musical theater kind of was my first foray into music and acting. And I started out in DC at the Ford's Theater. Doing a play. And I was an understudy. So I was an understudy, so I had to learn everybody's lines, everybody's everything.
Gotta be a
They're not
swing
always
for
nice
some.
to the understudy. So I learned that as a kid, that, you know, to be patient, my time would come. But I watched people every night, had the whole thing memorized from top to bottom. Everybody's lines, everybody's voice, this, that. And it was exciting. I got a chance to actually perform because I got chickenpox and then somebody else got chickenpox. Just kidding.
Not saying that you
No
took,
way.
not saying that you took your chicken pox.
Maybe my chicken pox are in before
I
there.
I might have gone back a little too early.
Let me give you a hug. Pox on me.
No, that's like our ongoing joke, but I guess technically it might have been back to a little too soon. And so I got my opportunity to perform, and I just felt the energy of being on that stage, performing for a crowd, the voice that you have to belt out. It was invigorating. I actually swore for my life, like the beginnings of my career was musical theater, and I thought that's all I want to do. Like musical theater is my life because it was just such a good feeling to be live.
So you weren't even thinking about making records or anything like that?
No, I mean, it was a dream, but we were like, maybe one day I'll get discovered. Like we'll be walking in the mall and somebody discover me.
Right.
Or maybe I'll go on, what is the one, not Star
Search?
Star Search
Yeah.
or something, you know what I mean? But never bothered to like seek those things. It was just like, maybe we'll get discovered. And
Tell me this, you two can speak to this as child stars and performers.
Yeah.
I was terrified as a kid to get in front of that church and sing a solo. Like, terrified.
But do you find it's maybe because you knew the people? I think if I had sang in front of my family, I was like, I don't want to sing in front of my family. But in front of strangers, I was about it. I was like, this is great.
No, I mean, I would sneak and do it. Like, I would sneak and play my grandmother's piano when nobody was looking. I
Yeah.
would sneak and play my cousin Fonzel's drums when he wasn't looking. But I wasn't ready to get in front of 500, 1,000 people and prove that it wasn't in me. Do you feel like that was something, because with you having pops and you having your parents, that they kind of bred in you in terms of getting you ready for that? Or do you feel like that you were born
I think I was born
ready for the world?
I was just, like I told you, I was such an extrovert because I was born ready for the world because I knew like with the idea that I could get discovered, because you'd hear these stories, no matter who it was that asked me to sing, I would just start singing anywhere. I'd be like, in the mall, blah, 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 this place, that place. I would just start singing because I was like, this might be my opportunity to make it. And like I said, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Janet Jackson, all these people, to see that, I was like, I'm ready for that.
Yeah, I feel like I was raised. Like yours being born, I think I was raised, and early on, I think for me, it was, where's the money?
Oh my gosh.
You niggas got a couple dollars on y'all? This is what, because, because early on too, like we were street performers.
Yeah.
Like my family, we were street performers, me and my brothers. So you know how that goes. It's, you know, the
performing.
crowd gets around and they see these little kids and they throwing money. So I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have no money, I wasn't doing no singing.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it was for me. And that's kind of how it is to this day.
Business early.
It is now.
Like, what? So is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah.
If not,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in here and talk a little bit on this podcast.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna manage and do some executive shit. But I'm not about to just be out here singing for free.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I was more so raised into it and brought into it in that sense more so than like one day I would just, I'm a singer. No, I wasn't that, me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was destined for success.
Yeah.
In something. And my dad was like, you don't have to wait for any man to do it for you. You don't have to do this, do that. It's all in you. So I was just like, okay.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
When is Discovery? When is like the real, like, I'm not going to say National Geographic wasn't real, because that's a gig. I know you got some money for that. Put in the account.
Yeah.
When do you feel like that defining moment where it's like, oh shit, all of these things that I've been kind of dreaming.
It's like manifesting
it. Yeah, I've been knowing I'm gonna do this. Now we're here looking at eye to eye.
Okay, so when I was 13, we moved to Los Angeles because I did a play at the Pantages Theater.
Pantages.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all these agents started calling and asking me to stay. They said they had seen the show and they were like, she should stay in Los Angeles. We were still living in Maryland. My mom was on the road with me. And so we were like, wow, Hollywood agents are asking me to stay.
Yeah.
And they want me to come home and do this. So we considered it, but we went back home because my grandma was sick. So we went to go take care of her for like a good year or two. And eventually cancer took over and she passed away. And by that time, it was like, okay, now it's time to take a chance and go. We're going to do this. And I was ready. I was so ready to get out of Maryland. I was like, peace, y'all. I'll see you later. I'm going to Hollywood.
What school did you go to?
In Maryland?
Yeah.
Westlake High School. You know Westlake? Westlake High School is in Waldorf. I was in Waldorf.
I was in Waldorf.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
okay.
St. Charles County. That's where I grew up.
Okay, so I'm in PG County.
I forgot. We were both from, and we even had that show one time in D.C. a long time ago.
Long time ago.
It was like a college campus show.
Yep.
I
know
still
exactly
remember to this day.
Yep, I remember.
And so, PG County. I grew up over there. I grew up in Maryland, like right in the root
Waldorf
of it. And
Mall
at the
was
beginning.
where you would go to Up Against the Wall.
Up Against the Wall. Yes. It started off with with the children's place, and then you grow up and you go up against the wall.
Yeah.
So yes, it was cool, but I was ready to be out. So we just tried it out, LA for a second. We said, okay, 6 months, let's see what happens. Nothing happened. 6 months later, my sisters and we were supposed to come back, and my sisters and I booked all these commercials. And so the commercials is what kept us out here.
Gotcha.
So we stayed, and eventually, I started to get discovered. So I stayed at the Oakwood Apartments. We know the Oakwood Apartments.
Come on now.
Oakwood,
The furnished Oakwood.
Oakwood started a lot of people's, their journey. And you had people like Tupac and ODB, all these people there. I was always around, and I would be selling cookies with my sisters. They were in the Girl Scouts and stuff. And you would meet people.
Selling cookies.
Yeah, I got a lot of money.
You
being
sold Girl
cute.
Scout cookies to ODB and Tupac.
Oh, they just
They
gave us
needed
money.
cookies.
Yeah, they needed cookies.
You know they needed cookies.
And we
They
got
was
tips.
hungry.
Yes.
And it's when I met Ronnie Jerkins.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So right before Ronnie Jerkins, I met another guy that was in my building. They were called Spanky and Charles, and Spanky and Charles were the first people that they had like a little studio in their apartment. And they were like, do you sing? And I was like, yes, I do. And they were like, sing for us. So I sang, but all I sang back then was like classical arias and Broadway songs. So I'm like, tomorrow, I love you.
Yeah, because you're fresh off the play.
Yeah.
I'm like play life and real musical, musical theater. And so they brought me into the studio first. This is before I met Rodney. And this is all at the Oakwoods also. And that's where I learned to my first time behind a microphone and hearing my voice and on a song. I was hooked.
And how old are you at this point?
I was just 13.
13, okay.
I was 13. And so we made 2 songs, and we would follow Spanky and Charles around. They were in a band with I don't remember. It wasn't Earth, Wind & Fire, but it was somebody, The Temptations or something. I don't remember. But they were older gentlemen. And I was making some R&B records, but of that style in the night and of the 90s, but it was the 90s, yeah. And so I made a couple demos, and then eventually I just started meeting people. It was like a trickle effect. Just started meeting people, and Rodney Jerkins came around. And I met Rodney when I was about 14 or 15. 14, 15. And he was in his early stage. He was only 18. He was 18 years old. And he invited us to the studio. And I remember seeing these massive speakers. I've never seen such huge speakers in my life. And we played the music. Your eardrums
That's what he gonna
will
do.
fall out your head.
That's what he did.
Yes.
That was the first time I experienced music that way. No, I mean, I used to play it up loud in our little Taurus, our Ford Taurus.
And a Taurus.
Yeah, we had the Ford Taurus station wagon. I was the DJ in the car. But when we got to that studio and I heard that music and heard him play and watched him play, and he connected with me and my mom. So my mom is my ride or die. Like they said, Carmen is my mom. She's my manager. And for years, like she's just everywhere I went, we just did this together. And so we were like, maybe this is our opportunity to really to get a record deal. And we're meeting people constantly. We're meeting people through Rodney. I'm meeting people at different avenues, just walking the street again. Like I met a lot of different people, people from Babyface's camp. People they were trying to find girls to sing or to be in girl groups. And so I didn't know these people, but eventually they were all legit and they're still here to this day. A lot of these producers, A&Rs and stuff. But Rodney, I made some great people through Rodney. Right. And Rodney originally, he asked me to make some demos. He was like, you want to make some demos? You can practice there. And he wanted to sign me. So I was making demos for him. And I got to watch him make The Boy Is Mine. I got to watch him make all that Brandy album. That was a really good album.
Amazing.
I got to see him work with Whitney Houston, and he would just invite us to the studio, and that's the first time I experienced don't go to sleep. You don't sleep. We're working late at night, people talking, gathering, watching them work, listening to music. The music's so powerful. It's just you dream big as this is happening. So that was really my first foray into the record business world, R&B world. And Ronnie used to make fun of me because they would say I sing white. So so I would go and make demos, but they're like, can you do this run? Can you do this? And I'm like, and Sean, everybody, they're making fun of me and stuff. But I was learning and trying and, trying to do runs. I just didn't do that, when you do musical theater. It was just so plug and,
it was straight ahead.
It's straight. You learn
ahead.
what you learn and you stick to that. So I learned to find myself emotionally. I wasn't writing back then, but I was singing other people's demos. But it was there that I learned that I wanted to write because it was I just sometimes couldn't relate to the lyrics. So I wanted to write songs that related to me and to other kids and stuff. And so that happened later on. But Rodney I didn't end up signing with him, and I don't even think we got to the paper. But I started to the papers part of it, but I started to meet other people. And I think at 16, I took a music as a business class at Valley College over here. And I met a gentleman who worked with David Foster. And they also ended up wanting to offer me a deal. I got a little deal. The deal was offer was $25,000, but it was David Foster.
Yeah.
And I learned about the music business, and I got an attorney. And then the attorney was like, you should probably meet some other people before you sign this deal. So we're like, okay. And so they set up some meetings, and I ended up going to New York and meeting with Island F Jam. I met with Sony. I met Tommy Mottola. I met Leora Cohen. And I just sang for them. I made a demo. I ended up writing a song for myself. It was called What You Gonna Do? What you gonna do about it? You think I would do this?
She still remember her original record? I don't remember none of that shit.
You always remember your first song.
You do?
I remember my first song. My first song I ever wrote.
That was cold.
Oh yeah, that was cold. It is. That was cold.
What you did to me, that was cold.
Hey.
You left me on my knees. That was cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everything was like a
11?
mid-tempo.
Yeah, it was.
R&B
Hopefully, I hope you were 11.
Before my sixth grade year.
Yeah.
Oh my
You're
a kid.
I have songs that I wrote as a kid. Because I'm the big sister, so I used to write songs and do plays in the house with my sisters.
I used to make all my
So I have
cousins
other
sing.
songs. Yeah, they had to sing what I wrote. They had to act out what I did. Puppet show. I'm the director.
You said the puppet
The
show?
radio station, the record and play and record on the little play.
I'm a real boy.
Yeah, that was me. You're supposed to say this. They are the puppet, by the way, too.
So you take all these meetings. You do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Where you go sit practically. You're naming all the labels at this time. So you go see everybody.
That was crazy to me because I finally had a little CD collection. Oh no, it might have been cassette. I wasn't on CDs yet. I was like, I'm not on CDs. But when I finally did get into CDs, I was 16, 17 years old, and I had like my little record book, my little CD book, and I had most of the artists in there were rappers. I loved Jay-Z, Ja Rule, all these people, but most of them were Def Jam artists. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I was like, you got either Bad Boy. I was like, that would be cool to be on Bad Boy. Or I could be something like Def Jam. And Def Jam, so those were like two big record labels.
You're really making plans. Like,
I had plans. I had dreams. It was really like dreams.
But you were very, it's almost like you were studying, like, this is where it's gonna work best for me.
Yes,
and you're
I was
shooting
like, I know
for
my
the
place
stars.
there. I was like, there's no other person that competes. They would appreciate me. I would be the girl of the team. You know what I mean? I would be that person. But at the same time, I was like, I want to be an urban pop artist. Like, I'm not just R&B, but I'm urban pop. I want to go really mainstream. And back then, they only had like, you're only listening to pop radio, hip hop radio. Remember, it was all so separated. If you made a pop song, you want to be on R&B radio or hip hop radio, you had to get a feature from a hip hop artist. Yeah. And now it's all. So I had to find this like happy middle, but I just knew that I was both. You know, I was all of it. I was like, I'm not gonna be just one tone. And I was like, I want to dance, but I didn't know how to dance, by the way.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I didn't take dance lessons or anything.
I want to dance, but I
was like, I want to be Michael Jackson. I want to be Janet Jackson, but I don't take dance classes because we can't afford it, but I'm going to do it. I did musical theater. I faked it the whole way, too. I said I was the tap dancer. I said I could ride horses. I could skateboard.
So they have those. I've seen
the skills.
They have
skills.
The skills where you put horseback riding. They'll never have a horse. It's okay.
I was like, look, I'm going to learn it.
I can rollerblade.
You pop into the meeting.
Rollerblade.
You pop into the meeting and they say, so, you ride horses. Bring the horse.
Bring the horse in.
What? I got my demo. You want to hear the demo first?
My skills were deep, but you have no idea. That's what my list was. So I was like, whatever the case is, I'm going to learn it, you know? And so, I met Tommy Mottola. I went to them. I came back again. Did a whole meeting. I met Jeff Fenster at Island Def Jam, and he was the one that discovered and signed Backstreet Boys. Mm-hmm. He was the A&R for Britney Spears and Sync, and so they brought him over to Island Def Jam. And I was like, what a perfect union for what I want.
You are doing so much.
It was
amazing. And calculating and processing at an early age, like.
I had a lot of
wasn't
information.
Doing none of that.
You just like, give me a deal.
I was like, I didn't even know what that was. Like, you're still talking about 16, 17, 18. I'm still at church, not even considering R&B. But I mean, we had a deal with Verity Records doing gospel and stuff like that. But I didn't even know what that meant. You know what I mean? I just wanted to get on my two keyboards and sing my songs and write my songs. I didn't know there was life after that there was a whole thing happening that was being stolen from me. I didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
And so when I finally get to this R&B space, I don't know. They just say, we're going to get a deal with such a. I'm like, cool.
We're going to put the music out.
All right. Yeah. Oh, we lost that deal. We're gonna get a deal. We got another one coming up. We're gonna get a deal with such a.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah. Deal. Paperwork didn't go through.
Barry Hankinson says, you with Black Ground Records now. I said, cool.
Yeah. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But you're like doing so. Was that a result of course, not just you understanding or wanting to understand the terrain, but also having your mom involved?
Absolutely.
To have that back and forth and have those.
Yeah, my mom, I mean, she, like I said, we were really close. We still are. We're very close. Mm-hmm. And like, because she was a young mom, we're talking about her being in her 30s and I'm like, early 30s. And it was when my parents, out of nowhere, they were going to have a divorce. My dad asked for a divorce from my mom. And that was like around 15. And it came as kind of a real big surprise, even though when I look at their history, I'm like, it shouldn't have been a surprise because things were all over the place, but it was normal back then. But it really, all of a sudden, our life kind of changed, from 0 to 100 real fast. Mm-hmm. We went from living this, it was a more middle-class family life and really surviving off of my money, our family money. It's nothing. Like, my dad working his butt off. My mom had to quit her job, help with all this stuff. And next thing you know, we were on our feet on our own. Like, my dad, it kind of shifted. It was a shift. And we've come to terms with the reasons why and everything. And, what was happening in our life. But all of a sudden, it was my mom and I having to raise my two sisters, and we decided to stay here in California instead of going back to Maryland.
Yeah.
And so because we made that choice, it was like a separation of everything from financial to everything. So we were surviving on our own. So in that time, it was a rough patch for my mom. She had, months of crying and listening to Unbreak My Heart and Toni Braxton in the bathtub.
Gotta do it.
And I had to get her back on her feet and say, Mom, like, we're here. We're still living life. And she had to get her life together again because she was just so distraught over it. And I remember we went to the grocery store and we went to go buy groceries and we found out like the credit cards, everything was cut off. So we're going to have to survive. And survival mode really was like we had just moved into our apartment, everything. We were going to have to pay the rent on our own without my dad.
Yeah.
And I'm only 15, So she started taking temp jobs. I started babysitting, hosting at restaurants. We started cleaning houses together. And we really went through this survival mode of like work. But we were just working to survive. But also life was actually kind of great at that time. When you're at your like hardest time and you really have faith, but you're in a situation where it's like we had no furniture. We had just moved into our apartment thinking like life was going to be fine. We had moved in. We didn't have furniture. We didn't have anything. And all of a sudden we had nothing. You really appreciate what that nothingness is. Mm-hmm. You appreciate like having toilet paper from the dollar store instead of getting it from, McDonald's up the street and getting ketchup or whatever. You like the can of beets. That's the only food that you have in the house. And you mix it up with some olive oil and so, oh my gosh, it tastes like a damn steak. Ramen noodles taste like a steak and lobster. You're like, right. I don't know what these rich people are talking about, but I can live like this. This apartment is fine. We as a family were such a union and our friends were so dope. We had so many friends from all the rich, my friends. I had a lot of kind of like young, black, wealthy friends. And they used to love to come to my house and like thug it out with us. It was like everybody's sitting on the floor watching TV and my mom's just like, the cheapest thing to make was like spaghetti or lasagna. It doesn't cost anything for noodles and sauce. But she cooked it up and she would make a mass amount and people just every day just loved being with us and didn't really feel like we were that we were broke.
Yeah.
Though we were like on the verge of eviction every other day. Mm-hmm. But we also just didn't feel like we were broke. Like something still felt like we were surviving, even though there were some times that was like tough. But the one moment when we realized it was the toughest and it was the turnaround that we were like, let's focus on this music part. You really want to do this? Then let's focus is when my mom and I went to a food line in North Hollywood. There's a church. I know you probably see it all the time. It's on like Moore Park and like Colfax. Mm-hmm. And they still do this. They give away food to those that need it. And we went there because we had no food. And by the way, blessings would happen sporadically out of nowhere all the time. So that's like we'd find like $100 on the floor or something. Just random things would happen. So we really were surviving off of that. But it was in that line that I saw like the rest of the people that were there with us. And some people even more of a hopeless situation with no shoes, nothing. And we got, like, I was standing there with my mom and I just remember like I didn't want to show them, but I was crying. And I was like, it had gotten to this, and we had gotten the food and they gave us, all the necessary needs that we needed. And when we went home and I started opening the box and as we were walking and I'm looking like there's ants in the boxes and stuff and I'm crying and my mom, she said to me, Christine, and we made this promise to each other on that walk back home that we were going to focus, that we were going to sacrifice. We were going to sacrifice the fun and all the other stuff to focus on my career. She started reading books. She had just started reading books about music as a business. And this is what made me go to school for music as a business. She read about just contracts and focusing on that. Because we seemed so close to everything, but it just never got there. We were like, there's something there. And I really wanted it. And so we made this promise to each other that I would always take care of her. I promised that to my mom to this day. I said, I just need you to focus on managing me. I need you to focus on me. We'll focus on this together. We got to get out of this rut. Mm-hmm. And so we went home. We put on all white, lit some candles, and said a prayer with my sisters. And we had this joke when my mom said a prayer on her knees, like answers came immediately. And so we said, I can't tell you about the job she was doing at the time. But let's just say she had to use her voice.
Yes.
Okay.
And let me tell you, the next day, her voice was gone. She needed her voice for this job. And just like our neighbors knocked on the door, said, hey, we're moving out. Do you want the milk? Do you want the stuff in our cabinet? And like, we just appreciated all the little things. So little answers were coming to us. I would find like 10 cents under the couch so I can get a little gas, just so I can go to the Valley College and get take these lessons. And that's where I met the gentleman from David Foster. So it was like we were just getting these little answers, but we were going through this crazy time in life. And when we went to New York, it was like, we're in New York and I have to make this happen. And so, yes, it was a strategy, and it was a lot of homework. We really, my mom is especially the spiritual part holds us down. And that's where I became connected, the spiritual part, because I understood religion as a kid, but I still didn't understand it. But it was then that I became spiritual and I had conversations with God. And that's when I was like, everything was just starting to unfold itself. Mm-hmm. And the day I got the deal with Island Def Jam.
Hey, come on, Island.
Jeff Fenster came to me and offered the deal. I went in, sang a cappella, got my deal singing a cappella, and what you gonna do about it, demo. And the day I finally signed my deal, we literally drove our little tourist station wagon to the attorney's office, and that thing, it was broken down. We were laughing, my mom and I, because there was smoke coming out the car. We had to push our car there. We finally made it there. It was right off of like Highland and Hollywood Boulevard. Signed my deal, and on the way home, we got it to start again, and then it stopped like right on the hill, like when you're like the Hollywood Bowl. It stopped right there, and we were there, and my mom and I are laughing and crying, like we just signed a deal for $125,000. I didn't think I'd ever see money like that. Like we went from zero. Yeah. I had actually we were getting evicted, and my attorney had to forward us money in the meantime because I wasn't going to be able to pay it. And so we're laughing and crying and like, look at us. Look at what's happening right now. It was so humble. It's so humble. Our humble beginnings like stick with me. That's probably why I'm very frugal and all this other stuff, because I'm like always like, I save and all this stuff. Last thing I want to I can laugh at it.
Right. No, absolutely.
But it's those humble beginnings that I always draw back to, and my connection with God and my spiritual side. That's really like that opened up when I was 15, 16 years old in those times. And next thing you know,
that is really
that's
cool.
That's incredible. That's an incredible story, and it just shows you got to stick to what you really want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because so many people. You just never know how close you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And for you and your mom to have that moment together to say, listen, all right, no more this, no more that, no more this, because we're focused on getting you to a certain place and actually getting there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That moment of relief and that like you said, your car had broken down, but you broke down with a 125 check. You got the check.
A bun and 25.
You're like, wait a minute, somebody like, if you just pick me up.
No, somebody pushed us. They
I'm
pushed
good
our
for
car.
it. I'm good for it.
It's crazy. They pushed so there was somebody saw us and they pushed our car from their car and they pushed us up the hill. But it's crazy. That walk that I had with my mom was like because the option was stay and thug it out and let's make this happen, or go back to Maryland.
Right.
And I was like, I just don't see it. I don't see me going back to Maryland. All my friends that I had from back in Maryland at that time, they started, doing drugs out of boredom. There's stuff that kids do in towns like that is just out of boredom. And if they don't have, they weren't dreaming already.
Nothing motivating.
So I was just I was in a different position. I still just felt like I could see it.
I wasn't going back to Maryland.
There was no giving up. I was like, I'm not giving up.
And not that Maryland was a bad place.
Not at all.
It just felt like
the opportunities were a little bit.
We're in LA.
Yeah.
Right. I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah.
The land of opportunity.
If I go home, if I just pack it up and go home, I've given up.
Yes, that's exactly it. I was not giving up.
So let me just move out to Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho.
Just a little ways away.
Okay.
Where I can afford it.
Okay.
Where they can't really see me doing bad.
Yeah.
or Corona.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
Until I'm still here.
Yeah.
I still can drive my stick shift Ford Escort.
So you had a Ford Escort, she had a Ford Taurus.
Yeah, we were in the Ford.
Ford family.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ford.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you,
Held us down to the
Hey, these windows.
The wheels fell off. Oh,
I had these
definitely.
windows.
I used to drive that
So now
thing.
you got your deal.
Yeah.
People don't realize now it's a whole nother process.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you got to find songs.
Yeah.
Now you got to get with the right people. You might get shelved. How long does it take you to get to the record with you and Ja Rule?
Uh-huh.
Between me and you?
Okay. I think it took. I signed my deal September. I think by the next summer, that song came out.
Okay.
So I signed my deal. I was making music. For
Are
a
you
little
still
while.
acting in between too though? Or no? Did you just shut
I was
it down?
acting. I had gotten a job on Disney Channel, so I was like
Okay.
Tina from the movie Surfers.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
So that was one of those checks that would come. I would get sporadically. That was like one of the things that helped us survive too. And I was getting a name for being Tina from the movie Surfers. And also, this probably helped me with my deal because Disney Kids were popping and pop radio.
Yeah.
So they were trying to find Disney Kids. So that probably really helped. Because when I look at it, I'm like, I didn't sing that great. And I wasn't dancing. You know what I mean? But I had enough of a chance and a glow that walked in and they were like, they saw it. And so, yeah, I had quit Disney because by then I was like 18. And I was like, I can't do this high-pitched voice anymore. And I was just in the studio and surviving off this money. So I was doing fine. I didn't have to do the acting at the moment.
Yeah.
And I was tired of doing like girl number 4, number 3. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting main roles. So I was making music. And unfortunately, for a period of time there, I did something that could have held me back. I ended up in an abusive relationship for a little while. But my Def Jam people really like stuck with me. And then my mom was on me. And I stuck it out, and I eventually got out of that. And I made this trip. My A&R Jeff said, come to New York and start working on music here. So I went to New York, and in that trip, I was able to break off of that relationship. I cut off my phone number, this, that, da, da, da. Though I feared, for the worst, I was like, I'm going to take this chance, and I really want this. I can't let this stop me. And so I went to New York, and I started working on music there, and I met her name is Shanita Floyd. She was like my creative director, I guess you would say. And she got a call from Irv Gotti. And Irv was looking for somebody to sing Between Me and You. And he wanted somebody that kind of sang like Mariah vibe. He wanted like, I forgot the song. There was a song that Mariah did, maybe with Busta Rhymes or something like that. And he wanted that kind of sweet spot voice. And the song was written. And she's like, go to the studio. And I was like, they're like, would you want to do this? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'll go to the studio and hear the song. So I went and I met Irv, and Irv and his, God bless him, and may he rest in peace. He had this loud New York energy, and everything was bananas.
Yeah.
Man, it was electric.
And everything was bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas. That was the first time I was in the studio. So like there was a gun on the table. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a gun out here. The guys had to protect themselves. But Ja Rule was one of my first, Def Jam albums, CDs that I bought. So I was a fan of Ja Rule. Like, holla, I was like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I want to work with him. And so he played me the song, and the song was dope. It was there. It was every little thing that we do. And so I went in the booth, sang it, didn't know anything of it. Left. My mom and I left, and within a month, we're shooting a music video. David Myers up in Porter Ranch, Chatsworth, in this giant house, and I'm shooting a video. And it was like overnight. It was those chances that I would take of sacrificing. Like even when you're in an abusive relationship, it is a sacrifice to leave something because you're scared and you're also so in love and brainwashing that person. You're like, it's a sacrifice I had to make because my heart was so in it, but I knew it was the wrong thing. So it was when I would take those chances and follow my heart and connect with God that I would have these amazing turnovers, like these turns in my life that was like, God was always telling me, see, like, I'm your friend. I got you. And I did the video, song came out, and I didn't really know that it was like blowing up like that. It was crazy. I was like,
you had a legitimate record.
Jank.
Yeah. And I was like at Ralph's on Ventura Boulevard, and one day, all of a sudden, on Power 106, I'm hearing the song, and I'm sitting in the parking lot with my mom, and I'm like, song is on. I'm calling people. I'm hearing myself on the radio, like that's when you cry and you're counting your blessings. You're connecting back to the moment of walking, and the whole, I still live in the area where all of this stuff happens, so I pass by these places and remind myself of this stuff all the time. So yeah, the Ja Rule song came out.
Does that give you?
That's when the label was like, okay, studio,
now it's time.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I go to Sweden. Oh yeah, I go to Sweden. It took like 4 months. It was like maybe 2.5 months. I made an album. And
you sent to Sweden to make your album?
I went to Sweden. I went to Norway. That was my first time at the country. I still have these videos I was just watching the other day, and I was such a novice. Like, wow, look, there's a Burger King. Wow, this, that. And yeah, I went and worked with a couple people, Sturkin and Rogers, these guys named Bloodshine and Avant. Even, what's his name? Mark, the one who made all the Britney Spears records. I should know this.
What is bro name? Max Martin.
Max Martin. Excuse me, Max Martin. Yeah. Historic. So these are people I'm like watching, and I'm in the studio making records, and I started writing. I really started to dive into my writing.
When you really started.
Yeah, it was with Bloodshy I started writing, and because people were giving me songs at 18 talking about. They were either too overly sexualized or always like, I've got pictures of him on my wall. I look at him. It's always admiration and like over the top of guys. And I'm like, but what about my real experiences? Like I didn't fit in school. Girls didn't like me. The records about just like real high school stuff.
Yeah.
And so I started writing those songs with really great melodies and pop sounds. And when I was working with them, I ended up writing a song called Play also. And that was supposed to be, I wrote that right before a song. The next day I wrote a song called AM to PM. So Play was something I did in like 20 minutes. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, it's cool. Dr. Seuss, I was like, is this too simple? My mom's like, it's great. Simple is good. And by the way, I studied to write because I didn't think I could write. So my mom told me if you could read, you could write. So I did study a lot of the greats to learn how to write songs and the formats, all that stuff. That was happening also in those really broke times. So that's what we would do. We'd go to Second Spin on Ventura and we would listen to music for free because you get the CDs, you listen to music.
Yeah.
And so anyways, so that's how I learned how to write, learned how to format. I wrote my first song called You Make Me Laugh. Anyways, so Play happens. And I was like, oh, it's a good song. Right, AM to PM. I'm like, that's a great song. This is me. And then like a week later, Tommy Mottola comes to Sweden to come get some songs for J-Lo. And he hears the song play, and he fell in love with it.
Right.
And he's like, "We need this song for Jennifer Lopez." And they were like, "Are you cool to give it away?" I was like, "Hell yeah, yes, please, yes." I don't like the song like that. I said I got AM to PM.
Right.
I was like, AM to PM was my party song. I was like, "There's no way they're gonna put two party songs on this album. I'm gonna keep AM to PM. Yes to J-Lo." And so yeah, I got a song on J-Lo by accident. It was so cool. I went to New York. She recorded the song. Like it blew my mind. And then I started writing for other people too. And it was crazy. And yeah, eventually AM to PM came out. Of course, unfortunately, it came out around the 9/11 era. Yeah. So a lot of that changed. A lot of the trajectory of music. I ended up getting Johnny Wright as a manager. So he started co-managing with my mom.
Okay, Johnny.
And Johnny Wright was handling Britney Spears and NSYNC. I went on tour with NSYNC, which was cool. I was opening for them.
NSYNC.
Yes, I opened for them. And the week my album was, it was crazy.
Oh,
yeah. Man. I met my idol. The day I went to MTV, I met Janet Jackson.
The one day you go up there,
I was just having a meeting. Janet Jackson was going to surprise TRL and come out.
Yeah.
And they decided they said, "You want to meet her?" I said, "Yes."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
They brought me down to her. I walked in that room, guys. I couldn't get a word out of my mouth. I was like, like I said, "Hi." I was like so timid. I had my mom with me. All I said was, "Nice to meet you." She was glowing. That's the thing. I walked in there. She was glowing. She had an aura. She was glowing. And she was petite. And she was telling me that she saw my music video. And she was telling me stuff that I was it blew my mind.
Yeah, you never know who's watching.
Yep.
No.
You never know who's watching.
It blew my mind. And I was on MTV. And I'm like, this is my dreams that coming true. Like, she left the room, or I left the room. I can't even remember. And I cried for 2 hours in laughter, in tears, and crying like, like I was crazy.
Yeah.
But I was crying, and I was so happy. Like, everything just unfolded so beautifully. And so it was so cool. And it was such a time. This is why people ask me about doing music now. And I just don't know.
It's cool.
Is it?
It's cool.
She said, is it?
I have to ask you. My husband does it, but he does it in France. I did it on a really international level, and I had MTV, and I had all this
them
other
90s
stuff. 90s, 2000s.
Early 2000s. Man, please.
There was nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
106 in Park,
there were so
TRL.
many music mediums, like especially visually. You know what I mean? With that MTV and those like music videos were a thing.
It was a thing. You spent your money on that video.
Man, what?
And people watched it. People came home kids came home after school. It was a tradition.
I think they've made it more normal now. Music feels in my opinion, it feels too normal.
Well, because back then, doing a video, right, was special.
It was.
Because you had to actually have a budget.
It wasn't called just content.
You had to have you couldn't use this to shoot a video.
Yeah.
I remember the first time a director said that to me. He was like, yeah, I shot it on my iPhone. I said, oh, we're fucked.
Dang.
I said, we're fucked. No, that was my first thought.
In my head, I was like, when someone said that, I was like, damn, if I would have had that then, do you know how many songs I wanted to put out or how many videos I wanted to do? Or people telling me no because you technically did what the label told you in a way or what they were down for, what they would commit to. But like I had video ideas. I wanted to shoot so many things. And eventually people did do that. And I was like, damn, I should have done that.
Well, it just wasn't economical back then.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's that's
but
where
videos also made stars.
Videos made stars.
They made stars.
Yeah.
These pieces of content don't really make stars.
No.
Like they introduce you to artists,
They
and
get
that's
engagement
cool,
and interaction.
and it's engagement, but
Don't make stars.
or maybe not even. I won't even say they don't make superstars. They don't make superstars.
Yeah, it's rare.
All the superstars have videos.
Still with labels and still
Still.
doing that. Yeah.
Doechii got videos.
Still.
SZA got videos.
Chris Brown got videos.
Beyonce got videos.
Drake got videos.
Kendrick got videos.
Name some new people who got videos.
They don't got videos.
Doja Cat got videos.
Yeah.
Doja Cat got videos.
Yeah.
But those are super. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they are
those are
superstars.
those are the superstars
Yeah.
now, though, and they still have that.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the artists don't have that. Let me shoot this in my hood real quick.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a buzz off of it, and that's cool.
Yeah.
It's not gonna make you to me because it's just something about the screen.
Yeah.
Something about that screen,
Oh,
right? It's
yeah.
just like being in a movie.
There was. Now I don't even get to watch music videos
Because
like
there aren't
that.
any.
Nah.
They're not making
Not
them.
music
Make some goddamn
videos.
videos, man.
You know,
Shit.
I'm surprised sometimes. There are videos, but we just don't get to seek them all the way. Like, I'll find out when I go on a treadmill, and I'm like, okay, I just want to listen to some music. So I'll go on, put a playlist on, and I'm like, oh, they made a video for that. Like, but you're right. Still, some people are just making, like, lyric videos and stuff because it's like, why spend the money? But it was just a different time. We had the platforms is what we had. We had MTV. Overseas, we had all these different networks of shows that you would perform on, Pepsi Smash, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And it was just so exciting.
Okay.
And I just don't like, if it doesn't give me that vibe, and I got to hustle and probably not make any money, not that much money, and sacrifice my family for that, it doesn't feel really worth it for me right now to do that. And I just feel like I lived in such a good time. And actually, back then, you can kind of know what the numbers were. I don't know how y'all count the numbers, streams, this, that, and figure out how you make money off of this as an artist just for music, you know?
Right.
Now it's just touring and maybe merch and stuff.
You
But
just count the show
how do you
money.
figure out the numbers? How you do that?
Count the show. You count the show money.
Just count the show money.
You know what I mean? I mean that's
They're
the
making it
only
tricky.
that's
It
the
is.
only real thing. The numbers that they've created now, as far as like the streaming, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I'll say it clearly. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody telling you that you got to stream 1,500 times for it to be considered one download. Like, who made that dumbass shit up? A crook.
Yeah.
A crook.
Wow.
A crook.
That's
A crook.
crazy.
A crook made that up.
Wow.
Right? Because,
Uh-huh.
and then it's like, okay, are the numbers even real? Because you can trick the algorithm. Somebody may
Yes.
have phones just running
Just
over
running
and over
over.
and over
Yeah,
and over.
I hear about that.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things. The only thing that's in my opinion that's really tangible is going out there and performing for your for your audience and for your fans.
Yeah.
When you show up to that room, 500 or 1,000 or 1,500, that's gonna tell
That's
you
strong. Yeah.
what the truth is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of all that
That's so
makeup
true.
and stream and YouTube and all, I get it. What do the people say though?
Yes.
And that's how you define it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump around a little bit
Let's
because
do it. Sorry, my stories are so
no,
long.
no, you-
it's all
you-
Is it
good.
okay?
It's all good.
no, I'm
Absolutely.
learning. Like I've learned so much about you. That is really, really cool. That I had no
That's
idea.
good. Okay, good.
Like really, your journey is really, really awesome. Let's go here because this is. I want to go in sequential order. Love Don't Cost a Thing.
Oh,
2003, right?
great movie. Yep.
How'd you land that? Just give me quick.
I was surprised. I was blown away with that one. My first album came out only overseas because, like I said, 9/11 kind of changed the trajectory of that. But I had a name that was out there. AM to PM did come out. Between Me and You came out. But I got a call from Troy Beyer. She's an actress who's also a director. Mm-hmm. She's great. She ended up writing the script to have a general meeting. And that was one of my first general meetings that I had. It was like an in-between album thing. I was coming back to, LA because I was on the road everywhere. I traveled to over like 35 countries off just the first album because I went overseas. And so I came back and they asked me I ended up getting an agent because I was like, I'm interested in acting again. And I got an agent and she got the call about this meeting. So I went and had a meeting and didn't have a script or anything. They had introduced me, given me a script, and they were just talking to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're here having this meeting in Santa Monica, talking, and it was like the producers and stuff. Didn't really know anything of what was happening, but she was just smiling. She was just so happy to see me. It's just something. The director, Troy, and she kind of looked like she could be like my big sister. Mm-hmm. So I think she saw her in me. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the meeting, she's like, they're telling me, we want you to do this movie. And I was like, really? Like, I had been auditioning my whole life for everything, for small roles, because they didn't have as many Black roles, Black Latina roles, anything like that back then. So I was always auditioning for really small roles or the best friend of or something. And they said they want me to do this movie. And back then it wasn't even with Warner Brothers yet. They got the green light off of me, off of my name. Oh, and so I read the script, loved it. It reminded me of Can't Buy Me Love, which it is a remake of Can't Buy Me Love. So I knew the vibe. I didn't know actually until later on that it was actually a reimagining of. And so they said, if you want to do it, then we'll bring it to Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers said yes. They greenlit the movie off of me saying yes. And then we had to find the guy. And so they thought of a couple guys, but I thought of, who I thought of? So I thought of two guys. It was the guy who played Jet Jackson on Nickelodeon, and I thought of Nick Cannon. And they were saying, that's funny, we were thinking about Nick Cannon too, et cetera, et cetera. So had a general meeting with them, and I connected with Nick. And now the reason I thought about Nick, because Nick used to hit on me all the time when I was younger, and I just felt like, the whole, but I always felt like he was nerdy.
He was young, right?
He was young.
You were both young.
Yeah, we were both young. But I always felt like he was a little bit nerdy. He just wasn't my type, Mm-hmm. So I was like, how perfect fit. He's popular at Nickelodeon. Yeah. It's this, and he's actually a really nice guy. And so when he came in and we all had this meeting, they were like, they still were on the fence. They thought maybe Jet Jackson. And I was like, no, it's Nick. I think it's Nick. And so they went off of my say and said, we'll do Nick.
Come on, boss.
And so Nick ended up being Alvin. And what didn't take much. Like, I don't even know how they greenlit it and it happened so fast. But whatever period of time, it was the production company was ready. We shot the movie. And I mean, it was the best experience ever. I was nervous because I finally had a lead role. Yeah. So it was going to fall on me, and had to actually memorize all these lines and everything, but it was easy. It was so easy. Troy was an amazing director. She was great. Such a great guide. My connection with Nick we had great chemistry, and it grew over time in the role. I almost felt like I was my character sometimes when people would, when the odds were against me, you know what I mean? Sometimes I was like, nobody's my friend here. And Nick and I connected and had this chemistry on screen and, of course, in person. That happened eventually, where you got to see that. And now, after that role, I immediately got another role.
Hold on, no. We're going to
Okay, what happened?
Okay, because you're having a time right now. Like you're starting in 2003.
2003.
You start having a time, then you drop. It's About Time,
yes.
And hit that Hot 100 with Dip It Low.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cooking right now.
Yes. So I'm back in the studio.
You back in the studio.
Love don't cost a thing.
Because love don't cost a thing. The record company said, yeah. We got some money. You
Make
rocking.
An album.
Come
keep
on.
Going. Keep going.
Come on.
I'm in the studio. I'm trying to find a hit, by the way. I'm making songs. I consistently was in the studio, by the way, all this time. Because music was still I was like, there's no reason I can't do both. So I'm still in the studio and I'm filming Love Don't Cost a Thing, and I'm making songs. Movie's over. I'm still continuing to make songs, but I still didn't have that hit. I didn't have that song. So I was searching. It took months finding it. And my friend Billy's in the building. Billy Clark.
Big dog.
He was at Def Jam. I made best friends with him. And Billy he is one of the A&Rs here on the West Coast. And he's just one of my best friends that just believed in me.
Yeah.
And he's another lover of like the Jacksons,
Good guy,
Michael,
man.
Janet,
Really
and
good
he
guy.
just gets it too.
Yeah.
And Billy knew some producers, and I called him one day. I said, Billy, I want to meet as many producers as possible. I need to find a hit. And so just put me like every hour, I want to go to a studio, meet somebody, listen to some music, tell them I want to come in, and because not every hour is like maybe every two hours because you got traffic in LA. So I had one meeting, and then he told me about this guy named Pauly Paul and this guy named Demetrius. Demetrius was managing Pauly Paul. And also at the time it was Schaefer. As we know, is Neo now. He was Schaefer back then. Was working with him too, and like helping him like with vocal production and stuff like that. So I went and had a meeting with with Pauly Paul and Demetrius. First time I met them, and he plays me songs, and the first song they play is "Dip It Low."
First song.
And Teacher Moses is the one that wrote it. She's singing the song. And my mom and I have chills thinking about this. We looked at each other and we were like, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the one.
But you don't say that out loud
Right.
because
you don't want to have
then
to
they
overpay.
start playing games. They start
playing
want to
games.
overplay. Oh, so-and-so wants it. So-and-so. I got a lot of that.
Yeah.
Oh, you find a song like, but so-and-so wants it. Oh, but da-da-da-da-da wants it. Songs that never even came out like to this day. So we heard that song and we just knew.
It was immediate.
It was immediate.
Yeah.
We didn't say it in front of him, but we knew. Then he played some other songs. We're like, yeah, those are good. Great. We like that Dip It Low song. That would be a good one. That would be a good one.
Had a cool little vibe that first one you played.
That's a good vibe. That's great.
I think I might sound okay on it.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yes.
you should explore that.
Let me tell you, we got in the car. My mom and I called Billy. We're like, Billy. Sorry, that was probably loud. We got it.
Yeah.
We got it. We got it. Call the label. Do this. Do that. Da-da-da-da-da. We got to set this up. We got to record this song. It's the one. It's the one. I'm telling you, it's the one. Billy was so excited, because it's like as a friend and as an A&R, when you know that your friend is happy and those meetings were set up right and everything was good, everybody was good. But that song, we knew we had the single. Single is everything. First single.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking first single. And now we know it's Dip It Low. Dip It Low is my biggest song to date. So I went in and Schaefer, which is Neo, he was my vocal producer. Nice. And I sang that song. And thank you, Teacher Moses, for writing it. Also being a great demo guide, because most of what I did on top of what I did on my own was her flair. You know what I mean? She was a great inspiration for that. And I found I felt sexy. I already, in that time, I was 21, 21. There was a big change also. You had like all the Maxims and all this other stuff. So it was like, I feel this. I am this. Yeah. I'm ready to make this leap into my womanhood.
See how she just jumped over King Magazine? You went right to Maxim.
King Magazine.
She said these other things.
King. I was the queen of King, by the way. Most King magazines ever sold. By the way.
Magazines ever
If that was an
sold.
album, man,
That was a time.
I went platinum. Let's just say
That was the album I went platinum.
that was a time.
We know.
We know. Did a couple of those, by the way. So yeah, I fell into my womanhood. I felt confident. This was me, and it felt like even though I didn't write it, and it was rare that I would find songs that I didn't write that I connected with. So this one, I just felt it, and it was right. And so I recorded it. The label was super happy with it, and wham bam, music video. The ideas were just coming out, and we found the right director, and we had this whole idea based off of the 70s and just doing body paint. And they used to do shows with the body paint and everything. Then I started getting movies. I got Be Cool.
Hold on. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's his shit.
Don't do that.
No. This nigga loves Be Cool.
Well, the video for Dip It Low helped me also. Like, I showed them after I got Be Cool. But keep going. Let's back it up. Go on.
Go ahead, Tank. Go ahead.
Take it back.
You having a time.
That's your movie.
I'm having a
You
time.
started in
That's your
2003,
I'm doing movies,
2004.
I
Now,
got Dip It Low in my pocket.
now we at 2005.
Okay.
With Be Cool.
Yes.
I don't even think you understand how many times me and Zena have watched this
so funny.
movie. It comes on today. I stop
You're gonna watch
and
it.
watch the movie. It's just one of my movies.
That's so cool.
I love that movie.
That's so cool.
Like in this period in time, like this is. I just want you to speak to. This is life. You're having a life changing, something that never happens in a lifetime for most entertainers.
Yeah.
Like you have hit records and hit movies
And
at the same
movies.
time.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
And just speaking to the walk home with mom to now you're having this moment.
Yeah.
That had to be like,
That was happening. But we're still like, it's crazy because we're still living like this, like a really cool regular life because we're still saving.
making sure you don't have to, yeah.
My little sisters are going to school at North Hollywood High School.
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing up at the little, prom thing, being the ambassador. Little things showing up for my sisters because they also had to sacrifice a lot too.
Yeah.
From like me being away. I felt like I was like their parent too. So yes, all this stuff, I was like, I'm doing it for me, for my family, for my sisters. They're my daughters, And it was a time. I'm doing photo shoots every other day. Magazines were selling back then too. So we're doing photo shoots every day, magazine covers, traveling the world, shows, Japan, this, that, tours, NSYNC. I'm touring with Britney Spears. I'm doing this, that.
John Travolta.
Dip it low. So I got the audition for
Uma Thurman.
Be Cool. Yeah. And they had John Travolta and Uma Thurman involved. And I knew it was the sequel to Get Shorty.
Cedric the
Yeah.
Andre 3000.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, tell me about it. I was blown away that I got it.
Did you have to audition?
I auditioned 4 times. And that 4th time, I was exhausted. I was shooting the movie Man of the House, Tommy Lee Jones in Texas.
Tommy Lee
Love
Jones.
Don't Cost a Thing came out that same month. And I came back to do these auditions for F. Gary Gray. And I sang, Why Should I Feel Discouraged? I sang that. I can't sing right now, but I was singing it. I sang it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the song I was using to sing it. And I did my audition. And they loved it. And there were a couple really, really great contenders I was up against. It was like a handful of women that were up for this role. So I was really surprised, actually, that I got it because they're singers and they're really popular. And when it came down to my last audition, I was exhausted. I was tired because I was filming. I was doing a lot. And I flew in from Texas to do this last audition. And I remember sitting inside the driveway for the audition because they were negotiating my deal. You have to negotiate for it's kind of like a screen test.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to negotiate if they're going to agree to what's happening. If not, you don't do the audition and you're not even doing the movie. So this last screen test, my attorney was like for an hour and a half, I was sitting inside the driveway and I had practiced singing so much that my voice was actually kind of tired. So I was like, I got to go and sing again. So I remember crying to my mom, like, I'm just exhausted. And she's like, Tina, you can do this. You can pull through with this. Don't discourage yourself. This is the last one. And I went in there and I sang. And I did crack a little because I was tired. It was like how my voice is right now. It's a little scratchy, but it was just a small crack. But I had enough charisma, I guess, and enough of the auditions, enough that F. Gary Gray saw something. And the innocence, I think, still in me that matched the character. And, gosh, when I got that call, talk about bringing you to your knees, crying and prayers, and being where I was at. And back then I was still with Nick too. And I shot the video for Dip It Low too. And I had the video in my hands and we were at the edits and stuff. And I got that call. It's just
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Speechless. Huh?
That's my shit.
You feel me. I don't have to say words.
I just want to let you know.
And then I was on the set with these people and I'm like, what am I doing here? It was pinch me. It was pinch me all the whole time. Just like, and pure shock that I'm working with these legends, these amazing A+ actors. And I couldn't believe I was there with them. And I was singing. And I'm the focus. My character is the focus of this movie. Linda Moon. I'm Linda Moon. John Travolta's my manager. These people are fighting over me in this movie. Alicia Keys wrote one of the songs.
Vince Vaughn is
Fergie
in there, like
wrote one of the songs, and Will.I.am and
that's
Vince Vaughn.
incredible.
Like the scene actually with me and Vince Vaughn in the beginning where he's like, Linda, get over here, blah, blah, blah. And he grabs me by the arm. Like, I really fell. Like, he grabbed me and I slipped in my little wedges. And I love that they kept that stuff in there. But he stays in character, by the way. Even when he's not filming, he was his character all the time when we're not shooting. So it was mind blowing.
At this point, what's your favorite? Do you
favorite?
have a favorite between being an artist or being an actress?
Not at all.
Are you just like, I'm doing everything?
I'm doing everything. I loved doing everything. People try to break me away from doing one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like the label would be like, she has to do music.
Right.
Acting, they didn't really tell me I had to do that, but they kind of were like, she has to a little bit. There was a like, she's gonna get more movies. She needs to focus.
Focuses on
But I was like, no, I can do it all. And even at the label, they were fighting over me. If you look at my albums, I was like, Island plus Murder plus the Ink. They changed it to the Ink because I didn't want to have murder on there. The Ink. Then they changed me to Def Soul. So they were fighting over me even as a pop artist and an R&B artist. I was always in between these things where people were trying to make me make choices. And I never believed that was the option. Like, I was just like, I can do it all. And like, don't give me these labels, actor or singer, pop or R&B or this or that. I'm like, I can do all of these things. And so I just kept doing it. Sometimes I had to make these adjustments and do things their way, especially music label wise.
Right.
And then it would prove itself. Like if it didn't work, it just didn't fit. But yeah, it was a beautiful time. I ended up going on tour after that with Usher and Kanye West.
Your tour lineup is pretty crazy.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's wild.
Confessions tour at that. That was a
wild.
tour.
That's
Kanye
wild.
West, the graduation, like
Your tour lineup is crazy.
College Dropout. What is it? Was College? What was his
College
Dropout album?
One of my favorite albums.
And we have We Are Ordinary People. He's on the
John
stage
Legend
too.
He was cooking.
What a time!
He was cooking. I don't want to gloss over Bring It On.
Oh, that's still girls to this day still stop me for
because it's
that.
still a thing.
Bring It On is a thing.
It's still a thing.
It is a thing. That they came to me. Universal came to me. That was a straight up offer. I no longer had a record deal. I had gotten dropped from either Def Jam after my third album. It was a crazy drop, but it happened, and I was in this lull, and I still wanted to do music, and but I didn't know, the labels. You know how labels it could be. Like people don't want you to be somewhere else, so they'll talk about you, and So I was in this crazy place, and next thing I know, I got a call out of nowhere for Bring It On, and it was great money, great franchise. I needed when I say money, it's because again, you go through dips as an entertainer.
Absolutely.
Everything is not certain. People have to understand. You might be famous, but nothing is certain. You have to let your pride go to the side sometimes. But this is not a pride thing. I was a fan of the Bring It On thing, franchise, and they brought me a really great deal. And I was like, yeah, I love the script, and I did it. And now to this day, I have little girls and their mama coming to me. And overseas, they're like, it's called American Girl. They're like, I love American Girl. I have girls recognize me even now.
It's different title overseas?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's called American Girl.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had so much fun doing it. It was great. It was an awesome opportunity.
One thing that's awesome about what you were able to do with your career is you were able to really establish an overseas presence.
Yes.
Which pays dividends.
It is. It does.
As you move through those highs and lows.
Yes.
Because something about overseas.
Yeah.
They
stick with you.
They stick with you.
Yeah.
They rocking with you.
They still rock with me, whether I'm doing music or not. When you see those numbers on those Netflix films, and when you see numbers on, especially movies, they do numbers these days. A lot of things data driven. That's what streams are for. It's for data. And when you see that you're a movie you do is #1 in over 75 countries.
Right. Speaking of Netflix,
it's because of that relationship I've carried with them throughout the years.
My sister did that movie with you.
Which one?
Meet Me at Christmas.
Which one's your... Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it is your sister. I forgot.
Yes. Latonya.
I'm gonna see her tomorrow. That's my girl.
Because most people don't put two and two together because
didn't
our
even
last
connect
name is
that.
Newt, but my middle name is Valentine. So most people don't put it together.
mean?
And we don't always say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she has her career.
She talked about it.
She does her thing.
She surprised me when she talked about it. Like, I forgot.
Yeah.
I didn't even put the two together. I love her.
She loves you.
She
too.
did a fantastic job.
And you guys did an amazing movie. Yeah. And we watched it over Christmas.
Thank you.
And my daughter loves it. Yeah, no, the whole family. She's like, yeah, and make sure y'all do what's the extra one? It's like excellent movie. Make sure all y'all click on. I was like, we got you.
Oh man,
really
yes, that's amazing. She's great. She's an awesome producer. Now I've gotten to step into the producer lane, which is cool. I'm producing movies now. And so that was one of my first, I produced an independent before that. And then I did as an executive producer with Netflix after I've done 2 very successful movies with them. They trusted and entrusted in me and my gut feeling about how to do this. And I'm pretty good at rom-coms, since love don't cost a thing.
Yeah.
And LaTanya and I, and also Christina Rogers, she introduced me to LaTanya. She entrusted in the both of us to really help put this project together in a way that would make it work and become what that movie was.
Yeah. And
we had some really great partners. I mean, Mark Roberts is the one that, initially started the movie. So all the producers, all of us together, was a really great team. We had so much fun.
That's dope.
So much fun. It shows on screen. And she's on it. She stayed with us the whole way.
Oh, yeah.
She could have left.
She stayed locked in. No, she stayed locked in. For sure.
Okay. All right, Christina Milian. We got TV, film. We got records. We got producers.
Yeah.
Now we got, my nickname is Snacks.
Oh.
Now we got these motherfucking beignets.
The beignets.
The ben.
I just took my daughter 2 days ago.
Man.
You did?
Yeah.
Listen.
She loves it.
No disrespect to anybody.
Am I your powdered
making
sugar deal?
Beignets anywhere.
I got that dough.
You got my favorite beignets.
Yay.
No disrespect to anyone, to the originators of the idea.
You just keep being disrespectful. Just go ahead and say what you got to say,
no
man.
Disrespect.
It's all disrespect.
Your beignets are my favorite.
Thank you.
Light, extra powdered sugar for me.
Layered.
Almost died. It was so much powdered sugar, and I breathed. I inhaled. You never inhale.
I did it yesterday.
When you're eating powdered sugar. For the love of God.
Gosh. No, the first bite, never inhale when you eat that beignet. Because the powdered sugar is just going to go straight to the back of the throat.
Really quickly, what made you say,
quick.
I'm going to start
beignets.
Beignet box. I'm going to do beignets.
Okay, so in the between, after all the music has happened and after Bring It On, I start living real life after I had a divorce. So my daughter Violet came along. I met Dream, got married, had a crazy whirlwind life of 1 year and a half. And then I had to figure out my life after that. I'm getting a divorce, got a divorce, the whole deal. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm figuring out my career, start getting little roles here and there. But then I started to figure out friendships. I was always working, so I didn't really get to hang out with people. Like I had my dancers were my friends, people like Billy were my friends, but it was always music related. But my family was like my friend. I was kind of raised like your family is your friend and everybody else is an additive. But I'm such an extrovert, like everybody is actually my friend. But I didn't really go out. I didn't go out in Hollywood, none of that. But I had to figure out how to stay famous in Hollywood after getting dropped from the label. And but the thing was, it was going out, being popular, going to Robertson, doing the paparazzi snapping you. And so I figured that out. So I started to go out. And I had a friend named Liz that I met. We know she's now my beignet box partner. But Liz was in the scene. She knew people. And I met Liz through an organization. Like we were going to work on an organization mentoring kids and that were in foster care system. And through our connection there, on one side, we're like doing all the foundation hands-on work, and we're also girls going out clubs and partying and stuff like that. And we just grew this bond. We grew this tight friendship. And through that tight friendship, we meet lots of girls. Girls become our friends, girls in the bathroom, girls this, you know what I mean? You're going out, and we just grew this clique of girls that just was growing, And so after my divorce, I started to go back out again. It was that revenge body, revenge life. I got to get my life together. But I know that also being on the scene helps me get my roles, helps me do this, da-da-da. And we eventually decide, let's get a place together. She had this place called the Sugar Shack. So the Sugar Shack is where all the girls got together, hung out, Sugar Shack, and we're there, and everybody's doing their business, doing their life. And I started to become an entrepreneur. I had this thing called Platinum Hookah that I started at the time, and it was getting popping, by the way. That would have been a big business. It was these little no nicotine hookah sticks, which was really popular.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was killing it.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, I was killing it. And but I also felt it didn't match my life, and the FDA and all this other stuff was too complicated. But she saw my ethic, my work ethic, and that was my first entrepreneurial thing that I did. And I was a go-getter. I didn't sleep. I was working on that thing day and night. And Liz had her thing. She has events, knocked out. She's got marketing knocked out, this, that. So we always used to say, we ended up moving in. I moved in with her because I'm single. I'm with the girls all the time. I needed to get out of my mom's house because that's where I was after my divorce. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. I had Violet. So I was like, my girls, I'm with them all the time. We're raising Violet together. We're a village. Plus I have my sisters and my mom. But we said to each other, Liz and I were like, we just saw what we had in our hustle. And we're like, someday we need to do a business together. We need to figure it out. We need to do something local in Studio City. That's our community. These are our people. We got that vibe. We're going to do something. And so we set our mind that someday we were going to do something. And we thought about it. We would go on walks on Runyon Canyon, say, maybe a candy store, maybe this, maybe a bakery, but we're not chefs. But we never said beignets. But she had this organization where we would rebuild houses in New Orleans. It was called the Hope Foundation. And so I would go back to New Orleans, and she had this gala, and we would actually physically meet the families and rebuild their houses. We raise money, and we would try the food. Yeah. So we had po' boys, we had turtle soup, we had this, that. And one day, all the girls we gathered, we went to Cafe Du Monde.
Cafe Du Monde.
Yeah.
Du Monde.
And we got the coffee, and we got the beignets. And Lord, let me tell you, we were like, beignet, we're girls, drinking wine and having beignets, we were bringing it back, but it just wasn't the same when we would bring them back. It was great.
Right.
We bring them back to the house, and it was kind of doughy and cold, and it was just not the same thing. But the sugar was doing its thing.
It would help.
So we're like, before we go back to LA, we need to get some beignets again. We have to do it again. We're like, Liz, you have to bring us back. And it was there that we were like, there's no beignets in LA. Why not beignets in LA? And Liz was like, we were like, all of us like, yeah, we should do it. Yeah. And Liz started to do the numbers and see what the business of it would be. And it just made sense. And so, yeah, it sounded like it just made sense. We loved it. We knew there was nothing like it. There was a food culture in LA and just the world. Food is everything. And we decided that was going to be the beignet. So it took us some time. We really first started working on the look of the branding. That's what Liz does. And through that time, we started to figure out what's the beignet. What's going to be the best tasting, most flavorful? What's going to make sense in LA? Why did we choose LA? Our friends were there. It was going to be the community, the people. But LA, we're also health conscious. We're also fitness conscious. We're like, we got to do something a little bit light, but give them the same flair.
Unless we go to turkey.
And we figured out the beignet.
Just run off to turkey, then we don't care about none of that.
It's okay. Just go lipo. I didn't say it's a diet beignet.
Just take a family trip to Turkey and eat all the beignets.
You could eat a lot more beignets because they're super light. They're very fluffy. They're layered.
Awesome.
And that's why we thought it would be the perfect beignet.
The mini beignet.
No, it's great.
The beignet
It's
bites.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys were one of our
truck.
first customers too. We started with the truck.
We are still.
That's how. No,
Yes, you guys
honestly, that's
still
how
are.
I found out about it.
Yeah.
Coming to the house, I see the truck,
Yeah.
and out of nowhere, I see Christine in the window. I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's my new
I'm
thing." I'm like,
inside serving people, cooking beignets, making sure everyone's getting it.
"Okay, you got
Yeah.
desserts now. Fine, give me 2 boxes
Yeah.
of them."
Really
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It's a
Really
crazy
awesome.
start. We were like, we'd do a shop, and then we couldn't figure out the shops. Too many permits and too much stuff. And then Liz is a go-getter. That's the one thing. That's the partner I chose was right for me, and she chose I was right for her because we're connectors. We're one with God, and manifesting, and we work hard. But Liz, she's diligent. She's on it. She's persistent. She's consistent.
Yeah.
She's on it. As a partner and as an artist, I still want to be an artist. I don't want to have to do all the work that she's really good at. She doesn't want to have to do it all the time. And I have been there when I can, especially in the beginnings. But she's one of those people. She's a boss, and she learns things and she grows things, and she's not afraid to get her hands, in the dirt. and learn some lessons and to get us where we are, even in the hardest times. Because, we've gone through pandemic, we've gone through actor strike, we've gone through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But the food truck was the best start for us because we got around town and we made our way to the people and we got the word out.
Yeah. How many restaurants do you guys have now?
Right now we have 2 trucks and we have 1 location.
Okay. Nice.
And the reason we did that, we just wanted to focus on, we want a franchise. And so our biggest thing was learning the different ways this company could work. So we've had a brick and mortar. We've had a really big brick and mortar. The location was quite large. The rent was high. You have to employ more people. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to employ more people. The rent is high. The insurance, everything is much higher in those situations. It looks great, but there's a lot of setbacks in that way. Right. But we've learned like kiosks work really well for us to go. The trucks work extremely well. So we've learned the different patterns that work well for us so that if anybody wants to franchise, they can understand what they're working with and what's the best direction for them. So it's been some really great learning lessons. And we've employed a lot of people, our friends' kids, and here around Studio City and North Hollywood, everywhere. We've had a lot of people come for us as far as like to come to eat the beignet, but also family. Like, your daughter needs a job, her first job. And we've had some great, like they bring on the other kids to come, it's a family. Beignet Box is about family. The Beignet Bites is about sharing. It's about community. And eventually we want to bring this back to where it all started with foundations, organizations. And just last night, we work with a foundation called Hands for Hope. It's in North Hollywood. And we've done a lot of great things personally with them and also now through the organization with Beignet Box. So it all leads one thing right back to the next.
Since you're here now, can you tell the people where the trucks are located or the round the way or even listen, we're gonna promote all this.
Yeah. Well, you can find us at Beignet Box online on social media, just at Beignet Box. And then we're updating our website right now. Right now we're so focused on marketing and on making sure all the things that we've never done email marketing. We've never done any of that stuff.
Really?
We've been like just so small business, grassroots, friends, family. Then now we're like, okay, time to take those next steps because we really are a small team running it. We're just us women. We've had people come in and out that just didn't work out, but we've got to figure it out. And so, you can find us right now at the Topanga Mall, at the Westfield Topanga, at Topanga Social. Yes, which is great. Brings lots of people over there. And then the truck is usually in and around, all around town, Studio City, Calabasas, Santa Clarita, Long Beach. If you just check out the page, it'll show where it's at. And then eventually right now we're figuring out the email marketing. We have a loyalty program, all that stuff. We'll start letting people know, where we're at, but you could really just go to
I'm gonna get some a discount then.
A code.
Okay, give me a discount. I just was there.
Loyalty.
You click
my number.
You click on this. Yeah.
We'll put you on the loyalty rewards.
After 9 beignets, box visits, your 10th is free.
You get a cafe au lait.
I'm with it.
You get a cafe au lait.
I'm with all that.
No, we got some good deals.
Really dope.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Incredible.
I mean, just watching how you pivoted in your career.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. You know what I mean? Like, no, absolutely. Right? Because we never know. Nobody ever knows. People, we meet each other, young age, we're all kids, and then some of us become what we become. Some of us go into other spaces. Yeah. But the main thing that I've seen just off of the survivors in this thing is like literally surviving in music and having a real career is you gotta be able to pivot.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. You can't shop that same demo.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
You know what I mean? In any term. You know what I mean? You just can't continue to shop that same thing. It's like, okay, well, what else can I do in these spaces?
Yeah.
Because all of this is in your wheelhouse, though.
Yeah, it is.
Everything that you just said, all connected. Yeah. It all connected, and it's really cool to see. And just like I said, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I've known you a really long time.
I know, we have.
We've
known each other for a long time.
Congratulations.
All of us here. We're not going to talk about age. We look good. That's all I got to say.
You know the unks. We don't really
But
trip
it's beautiful.
We unks.
Big unk, right? Yeah.
There was a nigga online talking about
you seen him yet? Forever, though.
Talking about he was 63 and he about to be 64.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm about to be 65. It's cool. I ain't tripping. On my birthday, I'm going to be 65.
Say, we're doing good.
We're doing
we came at the right time.
Yeah.
It was the right time, a good time.
We need a couple things from you before you go.
Yes.
We need your top
Oh, Lord.
5
Oh.
R&B artists.
Brandy.
Oh shit.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Mary J. Blige.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Quick.
how you feel.
Quick.
Usher.
Yeah.
Ooh, gosh. I mean, Beyonce. She's R&B. She's a little everything.
Yes.
Queen.
But she's
The queen.
right. I can consider her. She's
She's epic.
And my last one. Dang, I gotta go back though.
Who you got?
I want to go with Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
No. I said the wrong name. It starts with the A. Na 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 me.
Anita Baker.
Anita Baker.
What a voice.
That's
so
R&B
Usher's
too,
the only
right?
guy in there, right?
I mean, I can
Nice.
keep on going.
No. Top of this is
your list.
it's your
But
world.
I like my females,
Is
and
you
I relate very much to them. And but there are a lot of R&B males. I mean, especially groups. I love groups. Oh my gosh, Drew Hill, Jodeci, all the groups. I mean, everybody. You make great albums. Like I could keep going.
Yeah,
like
no.
Keep going.
y'all said 5.
Top five.
Top five.
Because it'll be a top 15. I know how you're gonna do. Top 5 R&B songs.
Oh nah, here we go. I gotta do this. R&B. Gosh. Can we just go through all the Confessions album?
Listen, you
Yeah,
can.
whatever you want to do.
It is all
That's a great album.
incredible.
Gosh, guys, y'all really do this?
Yeah.
You should have told me in advance.
This is the thing.
We told Billy.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me. I'm gonna go through my phone. I'm gonna tell you what I have
yep.
Sorry, Billy.
Billy, you did not.
Billy's my guy. I
He
love
did
Billy.
not say this. Hold on, we're
Billy
gonna go to
didn't read the
R&B
email.
and we're gonna make this. Okay. Okay. I mean, SWV. I get so weak.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige. But there's a specific song because that was my jam. That was like Mary. Oh my gosh, y'all killing me with
No, you
this
good.
one.
Take your time. You good.
I love that you have the pink phone with the
I
hearts
do.
hanging down. It's
I do,
very
it's
a
so-
love don't cost a thing.
It is. I haven't grown out of it. Oh yeah, I love real love. Real love. But be without everything. You, is it my life? No, sweet thing. No. Ooh, she's got so many songs, but there's just one.
You gotta
It's
top this
only
thing off right
only
here.
you can make my dreams come true. You brighten up my day in all your special ways. Oh, that's such a good song. Okay. Oh gosh, but that's not the one. But let's get it crunk. I'm sorry, it's an R&B song. Let's get it crunk up on. That was my jam. So we're gonna put
In
that
this
on there.
dancery.
Dancery.
Yeah, in
Come on,
this
dancery.
dancery.
Boop-a-boop-doo-doo.
Hey, got to dance for me. Don't need no
We know it got a real
Hateration,
name, but it's called
elevation
dancery.
in-
though.
It's dancery.
It's called
All right,
dancery.
how about Heartbreak Hotel? That's another one. Greatest. That's one of my favorite.
With
This
Whitney
is
Houston.
the
Faith.
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
You said you'll be here
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then
Kelly
you
Price.
took
Yeah.
Ooh,
How many is that?
That's 3.
3.
You ran off
Oh
47.
my
Mary
gosh.
J. Blige is with.
You have. Oh my gosh, not gonna cry. No, it's not that. It's not that album. It's a Mary J. Blige song. I have to say because it's necessary. My life, Mary Jane, all night long. I can love you. I can love you better. Oh, I'm gonna give Maya. Maya's Case of the X. Case of the X was pop though.
Super dope.
But her first song too, and it's damn, what was Maya? I love Maya. I think Maya deserves her flowers here. 'Cause she got some songs. Okay, and
It's
then
all
did I
about
say
you.
yeah? It's yes, that one.
Okay.
Are you gonna get it up, babe? Get it
Yeah,
up,
she was cooking, right?
Get it back.
Love that song.
Rock the boat. Aaliyah, Rock the boat.
Mm.
Great song.
Amazing.
And we got one more.
Amazing.
Is that what it
We
is?
can. Might as well. Go ahead.
Brandy.
Go ahead.
Brandy,
Mhm.
girl. Brandy, because it's going to be hard to pick this one.
Yeah.
But I want to be down with
Yeah,
what you're going through. But I'm going to go with this album, Never Say Never. That was my jam. And it's going to be hard to pick this one. Because Never Say Never was my album. Me and my girlfriend would be in the car, crying over our little boyfriends, singing the songs. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Angel in Disguise.
Oh, that song is great.
Angel in Disguise.
That song's great.
Yes, and I got it. The Rodney Jerkins.
Yeah.
Oh, what
song's
he
great.
did in music,
Super bad.
Rodney.
Super bag. He was a super producer. He is a super producer.
Yes.
He is.
Super bag.
So I'd
okay.
say that whole album actually, but we'll go with Angel in
I'll take
Disguise. Honestly, it's every song.
You got a top 100.
Was that okay?
She got listen. You could.
Yes.
You had it?
It's your world. It's your world.
Yeah.
Let's make a Voltron. You're a super R&B artist, right? If you're making an artist, you're making a superhero R&B artist, and you want to get the vocals from somewhere, the performance style from somebody, the styling of the artist, the heart of the artist. And since you're a songwriter, who's going to write for this artist? You need one vocal to make your super R&B artist. What
Super
vocal is that
R&B.
going to be?
Well, I just love Brandy's voice, so I'm gonna put Brandy's voice on everything.
Easy work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandy's
Easy work.
voice.
Performance style.
We're making a super R&B
Super.
Yes.
with the R&B performance style of. You know what? I love Maya. We're gonna put she has a.
Hey, Maya
we're
be
talking about her
jamming.
style.
Yeah, Maya be jamming.
She's got when you
Maya
see
be-
them dance,
She be
that love is
sexy on
like
there. She
whoa.
be dancing.
I love
Yeah.
a girl that can own it and she's kind of timid. She's not like an outward person that's like but her music is like she's
But her
vibrant
shyness
and
is like-
confident. I like her shyness.
Her
But on
shyness
stage,
is
she
like
get
her.
to it,
her
yeah.
Yes,
it's
and
like
she's a
her
Maryland girl.
attraction in a sense.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Like my love is like whoa.
Yeah.
Sierra's another one. That's another person I should be
You gotta
thinking
pick
of
one.
too.
Which one? You like
But
her?
I'm gonna go with Maya because
Maya?
I love what comes out of her. You know what I mean?
Dope.
As an artist, performance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With
Styling.
styling, clothing wise.
Yeah. The drip.
Style wise, I would say, dang, I can't put it up to the top of my. Give me some girls. Damn, styling wise.
I mean, you got
Beyonce.
Riri, you got B.
Oh,
you got-
Rihanna. Yeah, Rihanna, the style too, please. Rihanna, yes.
That easy.
Easy.
Love that. Love that. She put that shit on too.
Yeah.
The passion of the artist, the heart of the artist. Who
If
means
it's coming
it?
from the heart, I'm gonna give it to Beyonce because that girl's got the heart of a lion. She just doesn't give up. She's that. What would Beyonce do? Like she's that voice in your head when you're feeling lazy that day,
What
and
would
you're like, oh my
Beyonce
gosh,
do?
I'm overwhelmed, and you're like, woo, that woman.
Beyonce would get to work.
She would
Get
get to work.
Heels on the
Beyonce.
She's the
treadmill.
voice.
She would get to work.
Heels on the
work.
treadmill and singing.
And singing.
Yeah.
Carrying a baby on the side.
Who's writing for this artist?
Okay. The Dream.
Yeah. Yep.
Tricky Stewart.
That nigga right here. Shit.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you.
Not biased at all. You know,
Not.
not for any particular reason, but I have witnessed the man's talent, and he's very talented.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect. What you got, JV?
What's going on?
Before
you guys
we
like
get into
Miss
we got
RoboCop?
we got one more segment. And we have to give a disclaimer.
Okay.
My brother's doing 8 shows a week now. He's doing 8 shows a week
Ocho.
on Broadway right
Yeah.
now.
Ocho.
Right? He's a thespian. So I know y'all gonna be in the comments going crazy about how he didn't sing these theme songs.
Can we talk about the title? Give me the title. We need the name. Anybody who doesn't know what show he's doing, what's the show?
I am doing Hell's Kitchen,
Hell's
the
Kitchen.
Alicia Keys Broadway musical, and I play her father, Davis, and it's real.
It's real. It's real. You got it. When
It's
you go back to New
real.
York, you got to go check it out.
I will.
Like it's
Yeah.
like, it's Tony Award winners and nominees all over the place.
I was ready to throw tomatoes at him. He did his thing though, so I didn't. You know what I mean? I had to celebrate it.
You
I had
couldn't
to
help it. You were like, damn.
Yeah, you good?
Damn, okay, bro.
Killers on stage.
Dang.
Yeah, no, it's special.
And by the way, Broadway is killing it right now. You're amongst all these A+ everything everywhere.
Listen,
I'm looking at Denzel
just
on the
a
side.
few feet away, Denzel's right there.
Yeah, they cool and all that, but we talking
cool.
about
I mean,
Doe
We're
yeah.
talking
Rail.
about this one.
We're not
right
talking
here.
about Denzel. We talking about Doe Rail.
Doe Rail.
Doe Rail is around the
Denzel
corner.
Jr. is who we talking about.
Good
you
can
know,
he sing?
Denzel Senior, I get it, but
I get
but you want to see the new Denzel get to work. I'm on 44.
Othello my ass.
Yeah, I'm on 44. You understand?
Catch me.
Hell's
Catch me
Kitchen.
outside.
Holla at your one.
So yeah, this is why he is not singing this week. Sorry guys, this is why he's he a little spent. He a little spent.
I got a little bit left in the tank.
Literally.
A little
So
gas
right
in the tank.
now we had a very important segment of the show
Mhm.
where we close out. It's called I Ain't Saying No Names. Will you
Oh.
give us a story, funny or fucked up, or funny and fucked up, The only rule to the game is you can't say no name.
None.
Funny or effed up.
Both
Or
or both.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a mixture.
Dang. Billy, you my ride or die. You gotta tell me because I know we got stories, and I'm trying to think.
It could be movie set. It could be.
I got one.
Yeah. Come on.
Las Vegas.
Ooh, I like that already.
New Year's.
Ooh.
Cosmopolitan Hotel opening New Year's night.
Talk.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I can't say the name because I just love her.
You can't say
but
the
I
name.
won't say the name. Should we say the name?
You can't say the name.
No.
The song is called I Ain't Say No
Say the name,
Names.
but you might know the name just based off of my own interpretations of the situation. Because this is it's one of those nights. Actually, you don't say the name. That's how good this is.
Yes, beautiful.
Because this is this is 20 years later. Or 10 years later. Okay. So we go night. Oh my gosh, we're having so much fun. Me and my friends. It's me and my sister and my sisters. Billy's there. We go New Year's night. We see the fireworks. Crazy night. Billy, help me with this story. Because how did we end up there? Somehow we end up going with a very popular R&B pop star to a strip club. Is that where we started? How we end up there?
Amen.
Go, Billy. Say it. Just say the beginning of it.
No names.
Jay-Z and Coldplay were playing. They're not in the part of the story, but they were there at the, Okay. So we see everybody, like all the hottest stars are at this big cosmopolitan, New Year's night thing. And somehow we end up around this other star. She's a female. She's pretty dope. And we all decide somehow we're all going to the strip club. And she's like, come on, let's go. So she's got, the big SUV trucks. We all clamor in. We're stuffed in there like sausages. And she's like, she's the boss, by the way. And she gets us all inside of the car. We get to the strip club. We're at the strip club having a really good time. By then we've had multiple shots.
Amen.
There's people smoking, a little everything. She decides she's done with the strip club. We were going to bring the strip club back to her hotel room.
Yeah.
So everybody gets back in the car. She's really cool, by the way. And we get in the car. We go to her penthouse suite that she has at the hotel. And we're just in awe of all we're watching. And she's such a boss. She's walking around the room. She's got stacks of singles in her pocket. And she hasn't shared it. And she brought the strippers back. So these female strippers come back, And so they're shaking their butt everywhere and everything's shaking their ass. They're naked. But nobody's paying attention to them. They're just like music playing out loud. People are smoking a little weed, you know what I mean? And we're all talking, just, having a good time. But the strippers are doing stuff, but they're not getting paid anything. She has the money, but she hasn't, it's in the cut. So eventually the strippers are like, oh my God, they're starting to get bored because no one's paying attention to them. So they go up to this girl and they're like, so-and-so, we're going to leave because, everybody, Billy, you have to tell it. Come on, say it. You have to say what she says, okay? You're going to say it. So we're going to leave because nobody's paying attention to us and they're holding their clothes in their hand. And she says,
Bitch, shut the fuck up and dance.
they went and put their clothes back on the floor and got to dancing. And then she said, she just threw the stacks of cash at him. And the night continued on. And we were just in awe of this woman because she's just so dope and so cool. And and I think, I think that told the story. So that's a night we still talk about to this day. Still loving. It's a night we still talk about to this day. Just kind of like watching this strong ass female. That's just so cool. Be as dope as you imagine that she is.
Yep.
I love it.
Bitch, you shut the fuck up and dance.
I don't want to hear it.
That's all she had to say. That was it.
Dance.
Yeah.
Dance.
I don't want to hear nothing else.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a really good story.
That's great.
So that's a funny story.
That's great.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Christina Milian.
Yeah.
You have navigated this thing in such a way.
Yeah, that was amazing. Was that 2 hours?
It's close. We were trying to.
It's okay.
We were trying to keep.
Trying to meet your heart out.
enjoyed it.
Heart out.
We were trying.
But you were hanging out with your homies,
Listen,
man.
It's okay.
It's cool.
It's
And
okay.
you was rocking, so we were just like this.
Hey, just
Okay,
keep going.
she's
She's still going.
Okay. But you've navigated this thing with so much grace and so much class, and to see you now, to see you still evolving, to see you still growing, and still surprising us and showing us new things is just like really dope. You know what I mean? We didn't get to tap too heavy into the wife and the children and this aspect of it, but that's a whole nother space.
Yeah, it is.
To where, with everything else that you do, like you're in this superwoman, superhero space that is just, it should be studied.
I got some work to do. It's not easy.
No, well.
And you never said it was easy.
None of it is.
Yeah,
none of it is.
Yeah,
but,
we're all in the same space.
But we get to, we get to see you show up. You get to pull up on us, and it all looks good on you.
Oh, thank you. I'm just trying to stay young, drink a lot of water, hopefully stay in shape.
Come on now.
Trying to do what these kids need in their life.
It starts there.
Show up for whoever needs me to show up for.
Yes.
That's important.
Yes.
But no matter what, God is just guiding me. I always turn to God, and that's what keeps me and all of those things going. And I'm just thankful for my longevity and to meet good people and through my lifetime and be good to people and people be good back. And it always comes back around. So
love that.
It's a great lesson I've learned, and I'm really happy about it. Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at it. Look at you.
Shut up and dance. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tank.
I'm jvalentine.
And this is the R&B Money Podcast, the authority on all things R&B.
Yeah.
A superwoman. Family, you are absolutely
I got the outro
awesome.
too. Thank you.
This has been Christina
It's been great.
Milian.
Thank you guys.